Hi, I am Sophia. Welcome to True Payback, where story hits different. Hit subscribe. Let's dive in.
Let me back up to explain how we got here. My name is Rachel and I'm 32 years old. For the past 8 years, I've been living what my family calls a simple life, in a modest apartment across town. What they don't know is that I'm a senior executive at a multinational consulting firm, pulling in $240,000 a year plus bonuses. They think I'm an administrative assistant. I never corrected them because, honestly, I wanted to see who they really were when they thought I had nothing to offer. The answer became painfully clear over the years. Thanksgiving 2024 was supposed to be different. I'd driven to my parents' house in the suburbs with homemade pumpkin pie and a bottle of expensive wine. My older brother Marcus was there with his wife Jennifer. My younger sister Amanda showed up with her fiancé Kyle. The house looked immaculate. New furniture in the living room. Granite countertops I didn't remember from last year. A massive flat-screen TV mounted above the fireplace. Beautiful renovations, I said to Mom as I set the pie on the counter. She barely looked at me. Well, some of us work hard for what we have. I let it slide. I always let it slide. Dinner started normally enough. Dad carved the turkey while Mom brought out dish after dish. Marcus talked about his promotion at the insurance company. Amanda gushed about her wedding plans for next June. Then Dad set down his carving knife and looked directly at me. Rachel, your mother and I have been talking. We're concerned. About what? I asked. About your lack of contribution to this family. He gestured around the table. Marcus helps us with home repairs. Amanda helps your mother with shopping and errands. But you never help this family. While we struggle, you just coast. Mom nodded firmly. It's true. We raised you, fed you, put you through college. And what do we get in return? Nothing. My throat tightened, but I kept my voice steady. I see. Marcus jumped in. Rachel, it's not personal. But Mom and Dad are getting older. They need support. Financial support. And you're just not pulling your weight. Jennifer, his wife, added with false sweetness, we all sacrifice for family. That's what adults do. Amanda leaned forward. Like, I know you don't make much as a secretary or whatever, but even small contributions matter. Maybe you could help with their utility bills. That's only like $300 a month. I took a slow breath. The utilities they were talking about. I'd been paying those for 6 years. The electric, gas, water, internet. $385 monthly, automatically deducted from my account. But the real kicker was the mortgage. 8 years ago, my parents nearly lost their house. Dad's business had failed. Mom's part-time job wasn't enough. They were 3 months behind on payments, facing foreclosure. I was 24, fresh into my first real corporate job, making $95,000. They didn't ask me for help. They didn't even tell me they were in trouble. I found out by accident when I stopped by and saw the foreclosure notice on the kitchen table. That night, I set up an automatic transfer. $4,200 every single month, sent directly to their mortgage company. I called it a gift from an anonymous benefactor through their bank. For 8 years, they thought some mysterious donor was paying their mortgage. They thought they'd been blessed. The total? $403,200. Over $400,000. And now they were telling me I never helped. Understood, I said quietly, setting down my fork. Dad wasn't done. We're not trying to be harsh, Rachel. But you're 32. You should be more established by now. Your siblings have their lives together. You're still renting that tiny apartment, driving that old Honda. It's honestly embarrassing. The old Honda was paid off and perfectly reliable. The tiny apartment was a strategic choice. I was saving and investing aggressively. My investment portfolio was worth $1.2 million. I had zero debt. But they saw struggle where there was strategy. We're just worried about your future, Mom added, her voice dripping with concern that felt more like condescension. You can't coast forever on your little administrative job. Amanda nodded enthusiastically. Yeah, like maybe it's time to get serious about your career? Take some classes or something. I looked around the table. At their pitying faces. At their judgment. At their absolute certainty that I was the family failure. You're right, I said. I should think about my contributions. Dad smiled, thinking he'd gotten through to me. Exactly. We're family. We help each other. I pulled out my phone under the table. While they continued eating, discussing Amanda's wedding venue and Marcus's upcoming vacation to Cabo, I opened my banking app. I navigated to automatic transfers. There it was. Mortgage payment $4,200, monthly active since November 2016. I hovered my finger over the cancel button. 8 years. 96 payments. $400,000. And they thought I'd never helped. I pressed cancel. A confirmation screen appeared. Are you sure you want to stop this recurring payment? I pressed yes. Transfer canceled. No future payments will be processed. I set my phone down and picked up my fork. This turkey is delicious, Mom. She beamed. I'm so glad you appreciate it. I left Thanksgiving dinner early, claiming I had work the next morning. Nobody questioned it. They were too busy planning their Black Friday shopping trips. As I drove home, my phone stayed silent. I knew it would take a few days for the reality to hit them. See, their December mortgage payment was due on the 1st of the month. The anonymous benefactor payment that usually arrived around the 25th of each month wouldn't be coming this time. I spent the weekend organizing my documentation. I had 8 years of bank statements showing every transfer. I had the original foreclosure notice I'd photographed back in 2016. I had everything. Monday morning I was in a strategy meeting when my phone buzzed. Mom calling. I let it go to voicemail. She called again during lunch. Then Dad called. Then Marcus. I listened to Mom's voicemail that evening. Rachel, honey, something strange is happening with our mortgage. The bank says our December payment hasn't been received. They're saying the benefactor program ended? Can you call us back? We're trying to figure out what happened. There was no panic yet. Just confusion. Tuesday brought more calls. I ignored them all. Wednesday, Mom's voicemail had an edge. Rachel, this is serious. We need to talk. The bank says we owe $4,200 immediately or will be assessed a late fee. This anonymous donor thing, it just stopped. We don't understand. Call us back. Thursday was Thanksgiving. I stayed home alone with takeout Chinese food and a good book. My phone buzzed constantly. I turned it off. Friday morning, I turned my phone back on to 17 missed calls and 9 voicemail messages. Mom's voice was strained. Rachel, where are you? We've been trying to reach you for days. The bank is threatening us. They say our December and January payments are now overdue. That's over $8,400. We can't afford this. We thought we had help. Something is very wrong. Please call us. Saturday brought a new voice. Dad, and he was angry. Rachel, your mother is beside herself. I don't know what kind of game you're playing, not returning our calls. We have a crisis here. The mortgage company says if we don't pay $8,400 plus late fees by Monday, they're starting foreclosure proceedings. We need family right now. Call us back. The irony wasn't lost on me. They needed family. After spending Thanksgiving telling me I wasn't pulling my weight. Sunday evening, Marcus called. I answered. Rachel. Finally. Where have you been? Busy with work, I said calmly. Work. Rachel, Mom and Dad are freaking out. Their mortgage help just disappeared. They're about to lose the house. Can you come over? We're having an emergency family meeting. What kind of help disappeared? That anonymous donor thing. You know, the one that's been paying their mortgage for years? Guest stopped. The bank says the program ended. Mom and Dad never had to pay their mortgage because of it, and now suddenly they owe 2 months plus late fees. It's almost $9,000. That's terrible, I said. So you'll come? We need to figure out how to help them. Maybe we can all chip in? If we each contribute. Marcus, I'm confused. At Thanksgiving, Dad said I never help the family. That I just coast while they struggle. Why would I contribute now? Silence on the other end. Rachel, come on. Don't be petty. This is serious. I'm not being petty. I'm being consistent with the family's assessment of my contributions. I was told very clearly that I don't pull my weight. That's not. Look, they were just concerned about your future. They didn't mean. They meant exactly what they said. I'll talk to you later, Marcus. I hung up. Monday morning I took the day off work. At 10 a.m. I drove to my parents' house. 3 cars were in the driveway. Dad's Lexus, Marcus's BMW, and Amanda's brand new Audi. All financed, I was sure. All status symbols. I parked my 7-year-old Honda and walked to the front door. Mom opened it before I could knock. Her face was pale, eyes red from crying. Rachel. Thank God. Come in, come in. The whole family was in the living room. Dad sat on the couch looking older than I'd ever seen him. Marcus paced by the window. Amanda perched on the arm of a chair, Kyle beside her. Rachel. Dad stood. We need to talk about this mortgage situation. Okay, I said sitting in the chair across from them. Mom wrung her hands. The bank called again this morning. If we don't pay $9,200 by Wednesday, they're starting foreclosure. We have 3 days. That's a lot of money, I said. It is. Dad's voice cracked. We don't have it. We've been relying on this donor program for so long. We built our budget around not having a mortgage payment. The renovations, the new furniture, Amanda's wedding contributions. We thought we had financial breathing room. Amanda spoke up. We're trying to figure out how to help. Marcus and Jennifer can contribute $1,500. Kyle and I can do $800. But that's not enough. Everyone looked at me. Rachel, Marcus said carefully, we know money is tight for you. But even if you could contribute $500, every bit helps. I almost laughed. $500. When I'd been paying $4,200 monthly for 8 years. I need to understand something first, I said. Dad, at Thanksgiving you said I never help this family. That I coast while you struggle. Do you remember saying that? He shifted uncomfortably. Rachel, I was frustrated. I didn't mean. Do you remember saying it? Yes, but. And Mom, you agreed. You said you raised me, fed me, put me through college and got nothing in return. Correct. Mom's face flushed. Honey, we were talking about your future, not criticizing. Yes or no? Did you say that? Yes, but we didn't mean it the way you're taking it. I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. Then I pulled out a folder I'd brought with me. I want to show you something. I opened my bank statements. 8 years of them, printed and organized by year. November 2016, I said, showing them the first statement. I set up an automatic transfer of $4,200 to your mortgage company. Every single month. For 8 years. Dad's face went white. What are you talking about? The anonymous benefactor? That mysterious donor program that paid your mortgage? That was me. Mom gasped. No, that can't be. It was me. I laid out statement after statement. November 2016, $4,200. December 2016, $4,200. January 2017, $4,200. Every single month. 96 payments. Marcus grabbed one of the statements. This is real. Call the bank. They'll confirm. The payments came from my account, routed through their benefactor program for anonymity. I didn't want you to know it was me. Why? Amanda whispered. Because I wanted to see who you really were when you thought I had nothing to offer. I wanted to see if you'd value me, not for my money. I looked at Dad. And at Thanksgiving I got my answer. Dad sank back onto the couch. Rachel, I didn't know. How could I know? You weren't supposed to know. But you were supposed to treat your daughter with basic respect regardless. You weren't supposed to tell me I never help. You weren't supposed to call me an embarrassment. Mom was crying now. We were trying to motivate you. To what? I make $240,000 a year. I'm a senior VP at Whitmore Consulting. I have $1 million investment portfolio. I own my car outright. I have 0 debt. I let that sink in. You thought I was struggling because I don't waste money on appearances. Because I drive a practical car and live modestly. You mistook financial intelligence for failure. The room was dead silent. And then you humiliated me in front of the whole family. Told me I don't contribute. Told me to be more like my siblings who have their lives together. I laughed bitterly. Marcus, how much credit card debt are you carrying? His face reddened. That's not. $35,000 if my memory of your last Christmas complaint is correct. Amanda, how much is Kyle's student loan debt? $80,000? And you're planning a $50,000 wedding you're asking Mom and Dad to help fund. Amanda's mouth opened and closed. I've paid $403,200 toward this house over 8 years. That's more than the original purchase price. This house is paid off because of me. And you treated me like a charity case. Dad's voice was hollow. Why did you stop the payments? Because you told me I never help. So I decided to believe you. If I never help, then there's nothing to stop, right? Rachel, please. Mom reached for my hand. We were wrong. We were so wrong. But we need help now. The bank won't wait. We'll lose everything. You've lost nothing. You're exactly where you would have been 8 years ago if I'd never intervened. The only difference is now you know I was the one helping all along. So you're just going to let us lose our house? Marcus demanded. Out of spite. Out of respect for your assessment of my contributions. You all made it very clear I don't help. I'm just aligning my actions with your stated beliefs. Dad stood, his voice rising. This is ridiculous. We're family. You can't just abandon us. Like you abandoned basic gratitude? Basic kindness? You had no problem cutting me down when you thought I was beneath you. Where was family then? Amanda was crying now too. Rachel, please. This is Mom and Dad's home. They raised us here. You can't let them lose it over one dinner conversation. One dinner conversation? I stood. This has been building for years. Every holiday, every family gathering, some comment about my little job, or my simple life. Every time Marcus talked about his bonuses or Amanda showed off her latest purchase, there was a look. A judgment. I was the disappointment. The one who didn't measure up. We never said that, Mom protested. You didn't have to say it. It was in every interaction. The pity. The concern that was really condescension. And I took it because I thought maybe, eventually, you'd see me for who I really am. But Thanksgiving proved you never would. Unless I was showing off wealth, I was worthless to you. I picked up my folder and my phone. Wait. Dad blocked my path. What do you want? An apology? Fine. I'm sorry. We're all sorry. We should have been more grateful, more respectful. Is that what you need to hear? 8 years too late. So that's it? We grovel and you still won't help. I looked him in the eye. I didn't say I wouldn't help. I said I canceled the automatic payment. You have until Wednesday, right? Yes, but... Then you have time to come up with $9,200. I suggest you start calling banks about a loan. Or maybe Marcus can increase his contribution beyond $1,500 since he's so concerned about family helping family. Marcus sputtered. I don't have. Figure it out. That's what you told me to do with my little administrative job, right? Get serious about my career? Take some classes? Maybe you should take your own advice. I walked to the door. Rachel, please. Mom's voice broke. Don't do this. Don't let pride destroy this family. I turned back. I'm not destroying anything, Mom. I'm just no longer fixing what you all broke years ago. You chose status over substance. Appearances over authenticity. And when you had the chance to show that family meant more than money, you failed. We'll do better, Amanda said desperately. We'll change. We'll treat you with respect. Just please help them this one more time. Here's the thing about respect, I said quietly. It's not something you promise after you've been caught. It's something you give freely, especially when you think someone has nothing to offer you. You all failed that test. I opened the door. Think of it this way, I added. For 8 years you lived mortgage-free because of me. 8 years of financial freedom you didn't earn and didn't appreciate. That's a pretty generous gift from someone who never helps, don't you think? I left them there in their beautiful renovated house that I'd paid for, surrounded by their expensive furniture that my money had bought them room to afford. My phone started ringing before I reached my car. I turned it off. I didn't answer calls for 3 days. When Wednesday arrived, I finally checked my voicemail. There were 23 messages. The first few were desperate pleas. Mom crying, begging me to reconsider. Dad's voice strained, promising they'd make it up to me. Marcus and Amanda tag-teaming with emotional manipulation about family loyalty. Then the messages changed. Marcus angry. You know what, Rachel? This is who you really are. Petty and vindictive. We dodged a bullet finding out now. Amanda bitter. I can't believe you'd hurt Mom and Dad like this. Over what? Your ego? I hope you're happy. Dad cold. Fine. We'll figure it out without you. Don't bother coming around anymore. You're not welcome here. The last message was from Mom, her voice barely a whisper. We lost the house, Rachel. The bank started foreclosure this morning. We have 30 days to vacate. I hope this was worth it to you. I sat with my phone in my hand for a long time. Then I called my lawyer. Let me make sure I understand, my attorney, Patricia Kim, said over the phone. You paid their mortgage for 8 years, they insulted you so you stopped paying and now they're facing foreclosure? That's the summary, yes. And you want me to do what, exactly? I want you to contact their mortgage company. I want to pay off the remaining balance of the house in full. But there are conditions. Patricia was quiet for a moment. I'm listening. The house gets transferred into a trust. My parents can live there rent-free for the rest of their lives, but they don't own it. When they pass, it goes to charity. They get security, but they don't get an asset to borrow against or use to fund their lifestyle. That's actually quite fair given the circumstances. One more thing. I want a full accounting of every penny I've contributed over the years. Mortgage, utilities, everything. I want it documented and presented to them formally. They need to see exactly what never helping looks like in dollar amounts. And you want this done before the foreclosure proceedings complete? I want it done tomorrow. Can you handle that? For my favorite client who actually overpays my retainer? Absolutely. Patricia scheduled a meeting at her law office for Friday morning. She called my parents and told them there was a potential solution to their mortgage situation and they needed to attend with all adult children present. I arrived early and waited in the conference room. Patricia had everything laid out: documents, spreadsheets, and a formal proposal. My family filed in looking exhausted. Mom's eyes were swollen. Dad looked like he'd aged 10 years in 1 week. Marcus and Amanda stayed close to them, shooting me hostile looks. Thank you all for coming, Patricia began. My client has asked me to present a proposal regarding the property at 847 Maple Drive. Dad cut in. Is this Rachel's idea of gloating? Bringing us to a lawyer's office too? Dad. My voice was firm. Listen. Patricia continued smoothly. Over the past 8 years, Rachel has made the following financial contributions to your household. She slid a detailed spreadsheet across the table. Mortgage payments, $4,200 monthly for 96 months. Total, $403,200. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Utility payments, $385 monthly for 72 months. Total, $27,720. Property tax assistance, $3,200 annually for 6 years. Total, $19,200. Marcus grabbed the paper. This can't be right. Home repair emergency fund, $15,000 contributed in 2019 for the roof repair. Anonymous donation through your church. Amanda's eyes widened. That was you. Patricia kept reading. Medical bill assistance for your father's surgery in 2020, $8,500. Car repair for your mother in 2021, $3,200. Various other anonymous gifts and lucky windfalls over the years, approximately $12,000. She looked up. The total contribution over 8 years is $488,820. The room was dead silent. 400. Dad couldn't finish the sentence. Nearly $500,000, Patricia confirmed. All while being told she never helps. All while being called an embarrassment. All while her own family suggested she wasn't pulling her weight. Mom was sobbing openly now. Rachel, I didn't know. We didn't know. You weren't supposed to know, I said quietly. I wanted to help because you're my family. Not for recognition. Not for gratitude. Because that's what family does. Then why stop? Marcus challenged. If it's about family, why abandon us now? Because there's a difference between helping and enabling. I was helping you survive. But you were using that survival to judge me. To make me feel less than. And that's not healthy for any of us. Patricia slid another document across the table. My client is prepared to make a one-time payment to satisfy the remaining mortgage balance on your property. Approximately $87,000. Dad's head snapped up. What? However, there are conditions. The property will be transferred into a trust. You will have lifetime rights to live there rent-free. All property taxes and basic maintenance will be covered by the trust. But you will not own the property. Upon your deaths, it will be donated to Habitat for Humanity. You're buying our house out from under us? Marcus was incredulous. I'm ensuring your parents have housing security for the rest of their lives, I corrected. without giving them an asset they can borrow against, refinance, or use to continue living beyond their means. Mom shook her head. Why would you do this? After how we treated you? Because I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it so I can sleep at night. So I don't have to live with the guilt of knowing my parents are homeless because I was petty. But I'm also not going to keep enabling a dynamic where my worth is measured by my wallet. Dad's voice was hoarse. What do you want from us? Nothing. That's the point. I don't want your gratitude. I don't want your apologies. I don't want weekly phone calls or invitations to holidays where I'm treated like the charity case. I want you to have a safe place to live, and I want to move on with my life. So that's it. Amanda's voice trembled. You just cut us off? I'm setting a boundary. You can respect it or not. But I won't be attending family functions. I won't be available for emergencies. I won't be the backup plan when things go wrong. You all made it clear what you think of me. I'm just accepting that assessment and acting accordingly. Patricia pushed the trust documents forward. These need to be signed by end of business Monday to stop the foreclosure. I suggest you consult your own attorney, but time is limited. I stood. Think it over. Patricia will answer any questions you have. Rachel, wait. Mom stood too. I know I have no right to ask this. But please. Give us a chance to make this right. To be better. You've had 8 years, Mom. 8 years of chances. Every time you made a comment about my little job or my simple life, that was a chance to be better. You chose differently every time. We didn't know. He was crying again. How could we make it right when we didn't know? That's the thing you're still not getting. You shouldn't need to know I have money to treat me with respect. You shouldn't need to know I've been helping to appreciate me. Basic human decency shouldn't come with a price tag. I walked to the door and paused. Sign the papers or don't. Either way, I'm done being your safety net while you treat me like I'm falling. I didn't attend Amanda's wedding. She sent an invitation anyway, perhaps hoping I'd changed my mind. I sent a card with no gift and no RSVP. I heard through a former coworker who knew Marcus that my parents signed the trust papers. They're still living in the house. They're also downsizing, selling off the expensive furniture and the new cars. Reality has a way of catching up. Marcus tried to friend me on social media last month. I declined. My therapist says I'm processing complex grief, mourning the family I wanted while accepting the family I have. It's harder than I expected. Some days I want to call Mom. Some days I want to show up for Sunday dinner and pretend everything's fine. But then I remember Thanksgiving. I remember Dad's voice. You never helped this family. And I remember that I deserve better than people who only value me when they know my bank account. My chosen family is smaller now but infinitely richer. My best friend Simone, who's known the truth for years. My mentor at work, who taught me that success doesn't need to be loud. My partner Chris, who loves me for who I am, not what I have. We're planning a quiet Christmas. Just the 3 of us. No judgment. No conditions. No measuring worth by material contribution. I got a text from Mom 2 weeks ago. The garden looks beautiful this year. You always loved the roses. I wish you could see them. I didn't respond. But I didn't delete it either. Maybe someday I'll be ready for reconciliation. Maybe someday they'll prove they've actually changed. But that day isn't today. Today I'm focusing on the family I've chosen. The people who saw my worth before they saw my wallet. And I'm finally learning that helping people who don't appreciate it isn't generosity. It's self-betrayal.